Hi everyone, greetings from wonderful Grenada. I am Afi Ventour de Vega and I am a local agent under the Citizenship by Investment program in Grenada. I have been licensed since the program started in 2013, and coupled with that, I have been a practicing attorney at law in Grenada for the past 15 years. I'm also qualified to practice in Barbados and the wider OECS islands. I have been so practicing for 15 years. Coupled with my professional qualifications as an attorney at law, I am also a member of the Immigration Migration Council with headquarters in Geneva, and I'm also a member of the International Society of Professional Women. The CBI program in Grenada started in 2013, and since then I have been processing applications for various applicants from various jurisdictions. We've seen applications coming in from the Middle East, China. We've seen applications from Africa, including Nigeria, South Africa, Europe, including France, Germany, Switzerland, the United Kingdom. And we have also seen India becoming a hot market, Vietnam, and Brazil as of recent. I have been in the CBI business for the past 7 years, and I feel confident to say that Grenada has really shown itself as a very mature citizenship by investment jurisdiction. I have seen the many changes in policy and legislation that could only have made the program stronger and to create confidence in the international market that Grenada is a destination of choice, and the passport is a very strong passport that can offer very, very extensive conveniences for wealthy individuals and their families. Our success rate is very high, and we are happy to recommend Grenada very highly. We are happy to work with agents and applicants in ensuring that their applications are tight and clean and best presented to the unit for consideration. From our experience, we have noticed a very big improvement, in the time that an application takes from the moment it is submitted to approval. While there may have been some delays in the past, we have noticed a very steady and consistent trend towards more efficient processing, much more dialogue between local agents and the Citizenship by Investment unit that obviously fosters greater confidence in the program and in the process. In terms of the length of time it takes for the application to be submitted up to the time of approval, we have noticed that the time period, many of the applications are coming back within or just a little bit over the 60 to the 90-day business period. And those cases that come in during that period are well-prepared cases and cases that have no issues, no follow-up queries, no due diligence issues that needs clarification. As it relates to the difference in processing time between one project to another, there has been no difference from my experience in the time frame between processing one over the other. The time frame appears to be the same, whether or not it's a donation application or a real estate application. I am firm in my view that a very good application, an application that comes back very quickly for having passed due diligence and having passed through the entire process to approval, would have gone through very thorough preparation and review between the marketing agent and our office as local agents. We've had very cooperative agents work with us to assist in ensuring that as far as possible, all of our I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, all inquiries, all pre-submission inquiries are dealt with actively, proactively, and any inquiries that may cause a delay in verification by any DD partners, we tend to deal with them upfront so that everything is presented to the unit at one time which is why I believe we've been noticing an improvement in the time frame, or a shortened time for applications to come back. It definitely does help in ensuring that applications are dealt with thoroughly, and that all issues related to a file, as it relates to source of funds, as it relates to differences in the applicant's personal circumstances, are dealt with upfront. So I will definitely say that a thorough file preparation goes a very long way and decreases the length of time the application takes to come back with an approval. Part of the process, of course, the Citizenship and Investment Act has made it a requirement for particular prescribed forms to be submitted by every applicant in a family. The main applicant is, of course, the principal applicant, and that person would normally complete all of the prescribed forms. So there are 6 forms in total. And then there is the passport form, the oath of allegiance form, and there's an authorization form. Each form is designed to give specific information about the main applicant. And generally, these forms, for example, Form 1 gives general personal information, residential history, employment history of the main applicant. The other form that is also part of the process is the Form 2. It's the fingerprint forms that gives you information on fingerprinting. Form 3 relates to the particulars of the applicant that will be required to be placed on the citizenship certificate on approval. The Form 4 deals with the medical background and history of the applicant. If the applicant, of course, is an adult, they will also attach an HIV test result to that form. Form 5 deals with the source of funds, which is a very important form, business affiliation. And Form 6 gives brief information on the type of investment, whether it's a donation application or whether it's a real estate, and particulars of the contribution or investment being made. In addition to the main applicant's forms, the spouse of the main applicant is also required to complete and submit 4 forms. Those forms are the Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, and Form 4, which is the medical form. That form is also accompanied by the HIV test results. In addition, the spouse must also submit the application for the passport form, the oath of allegiance form, and an authorization form. As it relates to children who are between the ages of 0 to under 17 years old, they are required to submit a Form 1, a Form 3, and a Form 4. As it relates to the Form 4, which is the medical form, children who are 12 years and over are required to submit an HIV test result. Following on would be the application for passport form and the oath of allegiance form. The dependent children who are 17 and over but under 30 are also required to submit forms and supporting documents. So their forms would be Form 1, which is the personal information form. Form 2, the fingerprints form, because they're adults and they are required to provide police clearance certificates. Form 3, which is the home office particulars form, and the Form 4, which is the medical form accompanied by an HIV test results. They will also provide their passport application form, their oath of allegiance form, and an authorization form. An important point to note is that everyone in an application, every family member who comprises an application, must provide the fingerprint form, which is Form 2, except children who are under the age of 17 years old. One of the points that I wanted to stress, and for agents to take note when the forms are being completed, we understand that there may be differences in how certain countries complete their names or how they write their names. but particular attention should be placed on the manner or the way in which the forms ask for the names to be presented. So for example, the Form 3, which is the Home Office Particulars form, that form may ask for the names to be written a little bit differently in terms of the order of the names as opposed to the other forms. Particular attention must therefore be placed in ensuring that as per the request on the form, that is exactly how the names are to be indicated on the form or written. This is the form that actually assists the Prime Minister's office in preparing the citizenship certificates, and it will minimize delays and errors if they are completed thoroughly and carefully. One of the important things I wanted to raise and remind agents is that we must be very particular with the questions asked and the accuracy in which they are answered. So for example, on Form 1, the main applicant or the applicant is asked to provide his entire employment history for the past 10 years. Care must be taken to ensure that every period of employment is accounted for and is stated on the form. Likewise, the residences that the applicant would have resided at in that 10-year period must be stated exactly as it occurred in the life of the applicant. No period should be left out because it can cause a problem with verifying the address and verifying information as to past employment. So I would like you to ensure that when you are completing that form, that accurate information is taken from the client and it is recorded as accurately as possible. So generally, when an application is being considered, there are, I would say, a standard list of the supporting documents, and those would include your passports, your IDs. The passports will include visas that are current. If there are any active or valid visas on any old passports, so those are required as well. The banker's reference letters, the character reference letters, the education certificates are also required. If parties have been divorced, their divorce certificates will be required, as well as marriage certificates. So those are standard. Apart from those standard documents, the supporting documents for source of funds is the other requirement that fits into supporting documents. So they sort of go on a category of their own because there isn't a standard list for your supporting documents for your source of funds. What is required for source of funds would be the investor will be asked, how did you earn the funds to be able to make this investment in Grenada? And depending on how the applicant earned the funds, then the supporting documents for that type of activity will be required to be submitted. So for example, if the applicant is a banker and he has been a banker for the last 15 years, he would of course be required to provide a job letter that proves he's employed with the bank, and he will then be able to submit his banking statements to show his salary is paid into an account in his name. He may choose to submit his tax submissions to the government, showing that he paid taxes on that particular salary. And that's a very simple case. So we have other sophisticated investors who may own various businesses, but of the various businesses, they're using the funds from one particular business. So because the funds are now coming, the source is actually the business. They would be required to declare that and declare documentation of the business, like certificates, share certificates to prove that that person owns shares in a particular company, financials for the company or bank statements for the company. It varies, as I said, there isn't a fixed list of documents for source of funds. It really depends on what was the activity that led to this investment being made. And it could be a mixture of one or two or more. It could be that the applicant is earning dividends He's not necessarily employed, but he's earning dividends from an investment he's made years ago, or he may be retired and he's earning dividends or he's earning profits from an investment portfolio. All of those different scenarios can be examples of how an applicant may have earned his funds to invest. And so by the answer to the question, how did you earn the funds, then you can determine what are the documents that would be required to prove source of funds. We've noticed that there are some areas in the application process that have produced some queries in the past and even currently. The two that stand out are the verification of addresses, residential addresses. Sometimes an investor may state that he lives at apartment B and he has not disclosed that he also owns apartments C and D, or he owns other homes in the area or elsewhere. And those things are picked up by due diligence partners. He may not disclose that he is he's affiliated with a particular company, or that he may own shares in a company, or that he may have business interests in a company. He may have equity investments in a company. And those things are specifically required. When they are not disclosed, there is a request for the disclosure. And in some cases, there is a request for an explanation as to why the investor has not provided the information. So I always encourage clients and agents. It is always best to disclose the information. And if it is something that could create an issue, we can work through it. But it is better to indicate that these are the bits of information you need so that we can deal with it appropriately. Always remember that the CBI program is structured to accommodate families, what we will call a natural family. So for example, most applications will have a main applicant, a spouse, children, dependent parents, and siblings. Remember that the legislation defines what a dependent is. And just so that you understand that whatever your structure is must fit with the definition of the particular category in the family. So for example, a dependent child who is between 0 and under 17, those features must be satisfied. A dependent child who is 18 to under 30 must be satisfied. That child, to be dependent, must also be unmarried. That child should not be working. That's why they've allowed the category between 18 to under 30 who would otherwise be adults and be able to make their own application on their own. So I just wanted to remind agents that when structures do not necessarily fit the definition of the legislation, it could raise red flags, it could create queries that can delay the application, and the consequence could very well be that the application can be denied. I am happy to say that our approval rates are very high. It is, and it's based on numbers. So our average filings compared to our approvals are pretty high. We have very good applications. As I had indicated earlier, the applications that are very good, well prepared, thoroughly reviewed prior to submission, come back in reasonable time. So I am confident that we continue to have good applications, and we continue to have the cooperation and support of our agents, and we would like that to continue. A few of the common reasons we have observed where applications are denied, unfortunately, are, for example, the applicants have not disclosed the various places they've lived, their addresses. They have not disclosed many affiliated companies. They have not disclosed information on past events that would have, that ought to have been disclosed, events of a criminal nature. We are not able to verify the income or verify the source of the funds, or the source of the funds did not come from a legitimate source. They've been involved in activities that are likely to cause disrepute to the island, to the country, national security issues involving connected families on wanted lists. And we've also noticed applications being denied for non-disclosure of civil ongoing litigation matters. Those are some of the highlights for denials. So as I always indicate, from the get-go, from the moment the applicant who comes into office, all of these questions should be asked and the applicant should disclose them, because the due diligence process is really thorough. We try to be all-encompassing. We check out backgrounds thoroughly. We go in deep, we go on the ground, we verify information. So it is not something that can be hidden. I think it is best to disclose it. And if there's a very good reason for being in a particular situation or having been sued for a particular reason, it's best to disclose it, because it will be discovered and then it can delay the application, which can create a fatal result for the application and cause it to be denied. So during our time, during our service to our agents over the years, we are proud to say that we have processed over 4,000 passports to applicants all over the world under the Citizenship by Investment program. Once an investor becomes a citizen, his passport is valid for 5 years. We have had scenarios where applicants have used up their passport in 2 years of becoming a citizen. The passport renewal process is very simple. It's easy. It simply requires the application form, the passport application form, to be completed and signed, 4 passport-sized pictures, the expired or full passport that needs renewal, and the payment of some fees. And once we've received this on our end, we submit it to the passport office. In 3 to 4 days, it's processed, and then we FedEx it out. So in a matter of 2 weeks, your passport can be renewed without even having to visit Grenada or come to Grenada. We are happy to see the progress that's been made on the project. We are happy to see the transparency and the hard work that the developers at the Kimpton Kawanabay project are doing, and the investment that they're putting into the project and the property. And we are happy to report that we have produced and we have recorded many investors' title deed to the property that they've bought at the Kimpton Kawanabay project. And we are highly recommending that project to investors. It's a stable project. It's well on its way to getting to the stage of completion. I can confidently say that it is the leading project in the program and on the island. Once an investor becomes a citizen, we also provide, as a law firm in Grenada, what we will call after citizenship services. We assist applicants or new Grenadians in applying for tax IDs. We also assist with the opening of bank accounts. We assist with the renewal of passports. We assist with the formation of companies and other business registrations. We offer advice to clients who might be interested in doing other things in Grenada. We offer some concierge services where we can assist in arranging hotel, airport pickups, recommending site visits and places of interest. So we are here to work with you and to help you. So I want to continue to encourage agents to work with us. We are here to work with you. We are here to provide all the support you need. We have a very strong team. Between ourselves, for example, and the Kimpton Kawanabay project, we offer a lot of support to agents. We pride on ourselves on being as efficient as possible, and we also want to thank the agents we've been working with for not just their business, but thank them for understanding the process, and thank them for helping us make the process more seamless, more efficient, and to bring joy and comfort and convenience to their clients.